Hello everyone, this is Pantry Challenge week 2 and it's one of those slow, real-life weeks where everything kind of overlaps. We're starting inside with the kids, turning a big box of local apples into applesauce and canning it for later. Then we're heading outside for some s'mores in the backyard, planting a new fruit tree and giving the others a winter trim. Back inside, I'm using up what needs to go in the fridge and pantry with a simple cheeseburger soup while bone broth simmers on the back burner from old scraps and chicken bones. And to wrap it all up, I'm sitting down to go through my seeds and start planning this year's garden. I have shared before how I use my apple spiralizer here to make applesauce several times, and I'll link those videos below if you really want a little bit more detail. But with the amount of apples that I got from a local orchard of last week, I really needed to find another way to use them. And of course, applesauce comes to mind. I probably ended up feeding the kids about half a dozen of apples while I was doing this. They were just so excited to have spiralized apples. It's just a fun, tasty treat.
He's eating like a
He's my little billy goat.
long noodle.
As you can see, my kids even like to eat the skins when they are pretending to eat it like noodles. And the chickens had a lovely treat from the leftovers. I don't mind leaving the skins on my apples when I know I'm going to be using it relatively quickly, but when I'm canning them, best practice is to take the skins off. I do much prefer using my roaster here rather than a big pot on the stove. If you are new to canning, applesauce is a great gateway into it. You are water bath canning, so you are not using the intimidating pressure canner quite yet. The other easy gateway canning project is, of course, tomato sauce, tomato juice, anything along those lines. Those are all really simple, and I've shared those with you guys on this channel before, and I can link them in the description box below. For this project, I did cook the applesauce down the night before and then I turned it off and went to bed. When I woke up, I was just warming it up as I was pureeing it down to get it back up to temperature because you always want to have warm jars and contents when it's going into the water bath or the pressure canner. But if I had done it same day, this project probably wouldn't have taken much more than a couple hours. And I know that seems daunting just saying it like that, but when you're doing things in between, putting the sauce into the canners, letting it come to temperature, and then timing it, and then taking it out, it really is not too much hands-on time. So while the applesauce was in the canners, I had about a little less than a quart left and I gave it to the kids for a snack. And of course, they loved it. They were super excited to have a nice warm applesauce for snack time that day. The kids are super excited that their father, my husband, has decided to let them roast marshmallows with a little makeshift fire outside today.
My turn. Marshmallow.
Are you getting another one?
Yeah. Sam is scared of the fire, so we're pretending we roasted it.
So the next day, I went to a local nursery and picked up a fruit salad tree that I will show you here in a second. And with that, it made me remember that our apple tree here kind of broke during the season because it got too heavy with the apples. So I'm going through and cutting those broken branches down before we have another rain because it just needs to be done. And I'm just kind of looking around to see if there's any other limbs that need to come off that are funky looking, going the wrong direction or whatnot. And my boys are loving helping Daddy dig the hole for the new fruit salad tree. And it is going to be a great addition to our little mini orchard here. Has 5 different varieties of fruit, as you can see, and This is definitely for the children. I am not a fruit person. I don't know if it's because I grew up on Hot Pockets and SpaghettiOs, but I just don't have a palate for fruit. And this is actually our second fruit salad tree. We do have another one in the back, and that apple tree that you saw also has 4 different varieties of apples. It is something that I wanted to do because we have such a small yard with such a large family. I figured variety could be a nice thing for everybody. On this evening, I had some stuff in the fridge that I needed to use up, and of course, some other things in the pantry. These onions that I am cutting were starting to really go bad. I had to actually give a couple to the chickens. And with that, I decided at the same time that I was going to start some bone broth on the back burner and see if I liked that method better than using my roaster or Instant Pot. So what I decided to make today was some cheeseburger soup with the onions and carrots, and normally I would add in celery, but again, for some reason I am still out of celery, and these potatoes needed to be used up as well. So it just seemed like a really good meal that I could get things out of the pantry, out of the fridge, and not have things go to waste. So this is a really, really freezer burned old Costco rotisserie chicken. Yes, I know they are not the best. We have not bought them in a while, which is how I know this is super old outside of the freezer burn on top of it. And, I don't want to let it go to waste. Is it going to be the best bone broth? No, absolutely not. But I'm going to utilize it and take it for all it's worth. And I just used the salt and pepper. I'm putting in some bay leaves along with some homegrown oregano and basil, along with all the vegetables that you saw me cut up and put in, and also the leftovers that I've had in the freezer for quite a while. So with this recipe, I took about 2 pounds of ground beef and cooked it up, added what veggies I had, the root veggies such as the onion and the carrot. I would have put celery in there if I had it, and got it sauteed.
Ew.
Mhm. Ready? Can you hold it? Okay. Because I did not defrost any broth, I'm going to go ahead and use the broth that I had made in a previous video and use that for this meal. After that, I'm going to be adding in my potatoes, and I'm just going to let this kind of simmer and cook down. Best practice for this type of soup would have been taking the meat out first, but I really didn't feel like doing that step today. Not gonna lie, I was a little bit lazy, and it honestly came out just fine. While the soup is simmering, I'm just going to go ahead and start shredding up the cheese. I use about 2 cups of shredded cheese. On this day, I was using a sharp cheddar. And as you can see, the bone broth is going away on the back burner. I am just using up some heavy cream, which was one of the going expired ingredients I needed to use. That was inspiration for this dinner. I love heavy cream in my soups. There's just nothing better than a nice creamy texture and taste in winter soups. Once I get that all stirred in, I'm going to go ahead and add one of my frozen garlic pureed pucks that I have made previously with you guys. And then I will take out the bay leaves because I don't want my children to accidentally chomp or choke on those things. Those are a little bit of a choking hazard to me, in my opinion. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in the shredded cheese. And it is delicious. I just love this recipe. I've kind of combined a couple different ones. Another way to do this is to also puree some of the vegetables and put it back in to thicken it up. And the spinach is just because I had it in the fridge and wanted to use it up and to kind of blend it into this soup. If I had kale, I would have much preferred that, but alas, I'm using what I have. I like to top my soup with more cheese and some sour cream. If I had the forethought to also add some pickles, I absolutely would have cut some up and added it to it for a nice little crunch. Do you think I have a problem with seeds? Just a little bit. I need to go through them. So I'm gonna go through all of my seeds and I'm going to start making my plan for my garden. I do have a free gardening calendar book in the video description box. It is very helpful. I will pop it up on the screen. I don't have one printed right now and my printer is very low on ink, or I would have printed one for you. But let me show you, I'll put up on the screen from last year's video what it looks like and how it's free. So if you need help planning your garden, I definitely recommend grabbing that, printing it out. Some other options if you want to buy something is I definitely recommend Melissa K. Norris's family, what is this called? Family Garden Planner. I've used this over the years and it's really good for, see, here's my old drawings I'm going to show you later, but it's really good for seed starting and planting, and it has the germination periods. But what I find really helpful is in the fruit sections and different areas of this is it goes over how much you really should have per person in your family, which when I was planting like the blueberries or our orchard or the asparaguses or anything like that that's perennial, something like this is very, very helpful. It's not free, so if you need the free one, it's in the description box below. Just print it out. I did just do an order from Am I Gardener for seeds before going through this, so I'm gonna be finding out how many duplicates I have. But is there really such a thing as too many seeds? I don't know. You tell me. So these are what, like picture containers. I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen these by now. And I have each box kind of more like fall, winter, and spring and summer as much as possible. So like this one is my fall, winter, because it has arugula, carrots, celery, peas, onions, Brussels sprouts, so forth. Things that you would normally plant in the cooler seasons, or at least get ready for those. So I need to go through this one now. So I want to go through this box now so that I can start some seeds inside. I do have some outside, but my chickens keep getting out and digging up all my seeds. I'm at a loss right now. So I need to start them inside with my lights and go from there. So I'm gonna go through that today. And these are kind of not really sorted. So I'm gonna start going through these. I'm gonna start sorting out. I'm gonna start making a list. And I'm also gonna show you how to calculate when you are supposed to start your seeds, whether indoor versus outdoor, depending on your last frost date. You find that out. For me, I go to Butte County Master Gardeners, and I believe it's like April 12th or something. And I count backwards from whatever date, so April 12th, and then I count backwards however many weeks each of the seeds that I want to sow are going to need to transplant. So usually for peppers and eggplants, it's usually about 8 to 12 weeks depending upon the variety. And so I'll count back 8 to 12 weeks depending on what the seed packet says, and I will plug that in as my hard need to get them started date. And I've seen other people, they'll actually group their seeds together on the weeks that they're supposed to start. And I think I'm gonna try that this year. So I need to do my calculations. I need to see what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show you how I draw out my garden, but it's grown quite a bit, and I'm gonna be rearranging some things, and I'll show you that as well. Since right now we're doing the pantry challenge, I want to really see what I want to focus on with preserving for this coming year. So like next pantry challenge, I'll have a lot more to choose from. So I'm thinking potatoes, because I don't really have any canned potatoes right now. Same with carrots, and I want to do like soup bases and all of this type of stuff. So I need to kind of look through my seeds and get ideas. So this is last year's little drawing. I'm going to do it quite differently this year, but I wanted to show you an example because I no longer have this here, and I've moved the trellises. So actually this might be a couple of years ago. And things have moved. I have a trellis here now. Anyways, so this is kind of what I'm going to do again. And I will add a whole other row for my 2 large in-ground beds now. But something like this, if you're like me, it's very, very beneficial. This is not to scale whatsoever, but it is nice to see something laid out. Okay, so I have written everything out. It took 3 ginormous pieces of paper for each section of my garden, and so now I have printed out my Master Gardener's planting guide because it goes by elevation for me. So I'm at about 17 and change elevation, and so that puts me close to April 22nd for my last frost. A lot of people around here do May 1st. I'm just going to say April 22nd, and I'm going to go through my calendar and I'm going to start counting back from that date. If you hear that noise, that's my child behind me playing with Legos. So I'm going to start going from April 22nd, and I'm going to count back by weeks, starting with the 12 weeks, which I may have already passed. We'll see. And then in this planner that I have shared with you before, I do buy it because it does allow me to put all of my gardening stuff in here. So for special dates, or I can choose in my plans and goals, but I'm going to do special dates because it's listed by month. So I can just put last frost 22nd, and then I'm gonna start by up here. I'll do 12 weeks, 10 weeks, 8 weeks, 6 weeks, 4 weeks, and 2 weeks. And I will just plop those dates down, and then based on that, when I go through my seeds, I will be able to figure out the date that I need to start indoors or even outdoors. So I'm gonna go through all of my seeds and see what is empty. And like this one, the toothache one, these seeds really aren't that good. I did just order new ones of the regular ones, not the bullseye, from My Gardener. So I'm gonna start making my piles, and I'll start writing things in based off what the packet says on the back. And then I can start plugging it in on to my papers. This is a process, but this is fun for me. If this is not fun for you, what way are you doing it that's fun? Do you see a more streamlined way that I could be doing this? I'm a visual person. And I always hold on to my empties until I do this, because then I know if I need to order more. So these are new. I have wildflower mixes. I might try to do these now. It says early spring, but I'm not sure. Basil's 4 to 6 weeks. So things like fenugreek and St. John's wort, I'm growing these for medicinal purposes. This one I tried last year. It did not flower for me, and this is a medicinal herb that is best fresh flowers. Dried is okay, but it doesn't give you that color, that oomph for things like your burn salves that you want. So I'm gonna try again. This is a new packet of seeds. I think the other one was old. Baker Creek does not have the best of information on the back. That's my only downfall really with Baker Creek, is it's not like these other ones like Seed Savers, or my mind is blanking on the other ones, but So you get the idea. I'm gonna go ahead and do all of these, and then I'll show you when I'm done. So I have not gotten all the way into this yet, but I was able to draw it out. And I did do measurements, went out and measured with my husband, measured these. We need to fill these 2 beds, and some of this bed still needs to be filled. And then I have, these are 4x12s, I didn't write it on here. So the middle mark is the board in the middle, halfway at the 6-foot mark. And I have 8 of those beds. The other ones are over here. That have the asparagus. There was asparagus in here, but it seems to have gone away. Hasn't come up. All my strawberries in here, I need to replant most of them. But you can see I have my cattle panel trellises. This one I have my passion flower, my artichokes, my herbs, in-ground stuff. The only thing I didn't put was all my berries because I want to do something else with my berries. But this is what I will be working on this week in filling in. I'm debating on putting tomatoes this way in one of these beds. We shall see.